column and table aliases will take a query like the one we just created in the previous video and make it more readable and make the results more aesthetically palatable, I guess you could say. All right, so what we're going to do is take the query that we created previously with our inner join, and I'm going to create a new variation on it. First of all, let's address the problem that I mentioned in the previous video where I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. Now I happen to know from context that this is the author name and this is the publisher name, but you know, the fact of the matter is that the columns just use the column names and not maybe something a little bit more descriptive. So what I can do is use the as keyword, and the as keyword allows me to give the column name, the resulting column name, a different name from its actual name. So in this case, and it's unfortunate I'm overloading the term name here, but instead of authors.name and it just showing up as name, I'm going to call this author's name, like that, or just author name, like that. All right, now let's rerun the query. Now you can see that we have the title, the author name in that column, and then just the name here. Let's go ahead and use the as keyword as publisher, and not even use the term name. Maybe we should just use the term author here as well. And maybe here we'll go as book title, something like that, right? And I can even use a space in between to make it even more readable. So now column 1 is book title, author, and publisher. All right, that makes perfect sense, right? It looks much better. So if I'm going to take this data and save it to disk, and let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to send the results to a file, and let's go ahead and execute. It's going to pop up the dialog. What file do you want to put it into? Let's just call this books.rpt. And now I'm going to close this down, find that books.rpt file, and let's go ahead and open it up with Notepad. And you can see that it creates a tab delimited file format. All right, it's not the best. We can actually modify that. Let's go and delete it, because what I'd rather do is have it have the file create a comma separated value file, a CSV. So I'm going to go to Tools, Options, Query Results, and I'm going to select Results to Text. And here you can see the output format is currently column aligned, but I'm going to choose comma delimited. All right, and click OK. So now when I rerun this query, and I'm going to call this books.rpt, well, I didn't spell it quite right, but that's all right. Books.rpt, box.rpt, open with, and I'm going to choose Notepad off the visible area. And that should have been, I may need to close that dialog down again and then redo it. So let's copy this, and then open that, paste her in, and then, oops, there we go. That's what we want. Run it. Close that. Gotta find it. I guess I accidentally put it in the wrong spot here, didn't I? Yep. Let's open it with Notepad. All right, and there we go. We get the comma separated value. We also get this little indicator of how many were finished, how many were rows were affected by that query. But that's an easy way to get a comma separated value file out using the headers that we created. Okay, so that's column aliases. Let's get back into SQL Server Manager Studio, and now I want to talk about column, or rather table aliases. It was kind of a pain to write out the entire word books and authors all over the place, right? So let's comment this version of the query out. I'm going to copy the query, and I'm going to show you that we don't have to do all that work. We can just go and use books B, authors A, space A, and then publishers P. And now we can just use B, A, and P like so. So books b.authorID equals authors dot or a dot author ID. Here's b dot publisher ID equals p dot publisher ID. Instead of books, I can just go b there, I just go a here, and I can just go p here. All right. And rerun the query. Whoops. Let's cancel out of that. Let's go back to the grid and run that. There we go. Okay. And so it works the same, but there was a lot less typing involved whenever we had to prefix the column names with the table name. We were able to just use the alias instead, right? So hopefully that will help speed up the code that involves multiple tables when you're creating inner joins. All right. So in this video, we looked at column and table aliases, and we took a short aside at how to format the end result if we don't want column aligned and instead we want to use comma delimited for whatever reason. Okay. So let's continue on in the next video. See you there. Thanks.